Okay, this week we're looking at Heather Elizabeth's site. She's a wedding and boudoir photographer based out of the East Bay. We're going to start at the homepage and we'll look through the site to see what improvements she can do to her SEO, usability, and overall design. Why do I talk so much about the usability in these critiques? Well, anytime your visitors have to figure something out or they don't find what they want, it increases what's called friction in the experience on your website. And in these days of short attention spans, you can easily find that those potential customers leaving your site because of that friction. So it's very important to create a very engaging website that serves the information that the visitor is looking for right there on a platter. So let's hop into Elizabeth's site. So first we'll look at the home page. It's a very nice and clean site. You tell people where you shoot right up here at the top, which is really nice, really great thing to have. I do wish that was not an image, and that the words here were actual text. But it's good when someone comes there to see that. That's fine. In the navigation, I wouldn't have blog be here as your first item. Part of your job as a website owner is to guide people through the process of hiring you. And you don't want people getting stuck in your blog posts right away before they have a chance to look at the services that you offer. Now the images are nice and big and you have a good amount. I wouldn't put more than the 10 or so that you have there. I love this greeting section that you have down here, but it's missing a great image of you. I see you have one here, but what if you had one right here? So when you're introducing yourself, show off your face so people can get connected to you. This stuff down here is pretty redundant because you have it up in the navigation menu already. It may look nice, but you want people to get used to one form of navigation, and you already have all this stuff. All right, let's go ahead and look at the rest. So let's go ahead and click in through the blog. Now, looking at the first blog here, I could use a little bit more content. It seems a little bit sparse. I'd create a story, create a story about the event. And use those photos, the photos down here, to fill in the blanks. Doing so will increase the amount of long tail searches you have on your site and increase the amount of traffic that you get. Now I noticed here the alt text, let me just right click on this guy here and inspect element. Now the alt text that you have on your images is really just reflecting the title that you have for each image. So right here you can see the alt Heather Elizabeth Farm Rustic Country Wedding. Now you have that for each of the images, and that's it's a form of keyword stuffing. Now alt text should be unique to each photo, and it should also be descriptive of the photo itself. You'll want to fix this on your blog post. You don't want that. It's like I said, it's a form of keyword stuffing. So use less photos if you have to, or if you don't want to include descriptive text for each one. Sometimes more is not actually better. In that same vein, alt text is not as beneficial to you SEO-wise as captions, which would show up down underneath the actual image itself and describe the image or create a story for each image. So those, because they're forward-facing text and not stuff behind the photo, captions are going to be way better SEO-wise. Now if we look at the single blog post itself, I notice that you do have a nice call to action down here at the bottom. So people do share the post maybe, but sharing is nice, but you really want something to encourage the viewer to look at your services or to contact you directly. All right, let's look at the information page here. Now, I would think as a visitor to your site that this is your information page about weddings. But what you see when you get here, it's an about page. And I would really rename this to About or About Heather and have this be your About page. And then have an information page that spells out your information about weddings, or just call the information page Weddings. Very clear, and that would be the page that houses all your information about weddings. And one of the things that I noticed is the text is rather small, and I would increase the size of the text on your site. Not only is it in from a design perspective, but it just makes things easier to read for your clientele. Also notice this nice little discrete call to action down here at the bottom. That's really good. That you get that, you want that sort of thing on all of your pages. Now, portfolio. What I noticed was having to roll over something to find out what it is it's a little bit more friction. So you have to roll over each one of these to find out what's there. And the only thing I would say about the only other thing I would say about the portfolios is just that less is more. Get them in the door to see more. Okay, so the boudoir was a big sticking point for me. Why have a separate site for boudoir when it's the same branding? So you get launched into a new site with a new tab. I don't understand that thinking. So now you have to manage two websites, and your domain authority is split in two. Your site's authority would improve with bringing that additional content into one page and bring the blog posts into your current site as well. But instead, like I said, you get launched into a new tab. It's a different site. It's a different experience, and that might seem okay for you. It might make sense to you from your point of view, but it's jolting experience to your visitors. If you want to have a separate blog or segment things somehow, there's ways to do that. But boudoir is a big thing right now in the wedding world, and you're at an advantage over people that don't do it. So you should embrace that and bring the two websites together into one. Okay, so if we look at raves, I love testimonials. I love them. And I love the fact that you have photos of your couples next to each one. That's outstanding. The page is off-center, though, for some reason. It's probably because there's supposed to be a sidebar over here. So you might look at the template and make sure that it's set up to be the full width. The other thing I might consider is making links to the blog posts of each of these. Then you create a little bit of dynamic linking throughout the site. They come to those blog posts, you have your new updated call to actions on them, and you're all good to go there. On the pricing page, see, here's the thing. I really prefer to see service pages that combine everything onto one page, like the information about your service, the rates, areas served, etc. Doing it any other way, like you have here with pricing and information and portfolio, it fragments your content, and it makes people go on a bit of a goose chase to get that information. So, having to go here and then go here and over here. Well, it also impacts your SEO in the sense that it's all that content is spread out and not contained in one page that will rank well. Now, I suggest you make a page for weddings and a page for boudoir and have all that information on those pages. It'll make that user experience less frustrating, which in turn would have more people contacting you. And then on the contact page, I really do recommend using a form instead of email, just having your email. First off, it's kind of down here stuck away where it's a little hard for people to find. And as far as a form, you get good information about the percentage of people who are actually contacting you. In addition, you get the specific information from your potential customers that you may want every time. Okay, so I hope that gives you a good plan of attack to improve your site. Remember, your job is to guide people through the process of hiring you. Photographers initially think that it's a way to show off pretty work, but you could really show just one photo and still get plenty of clients if you set your site up properly. Okay? Thanks.